Hey gamers, it's Kwing here, bringing you a review that's been in the works since December 26. We here at Game Nights are shocked and appalled by our fellow critics in the US slamming the crap out of this game continuously. Most reviewers have not played more than 3 or 4 hours of this game, yet they pass judgment without giving the game a chance to warm them over. However, Game Nights is not saying that this is the best Final Fantasy game released, but it isn't as bad as the critics say. Still, we've played through the game about 2 times now, and we'll be judging this game based on those factors alone. Without further delay, it's time to start the fairest and most honest Final Fantasy Crystal Bearers review in the United States of America, the way only Game Nights Entertainment can. A millennium has passed since the destruction of the U Crystal during the Great War. The Liddy now have dominion over the world, and an age of science has begun. The Gavalts and the Selkies are now governed by the Liddy race, and magic is all but forgotten. Still, a rare breed of powerful people called Crystal Bearers does exist, and they have controls over the lost arcane arts. Lael is a bearer who's been hired to escort the Lexus with his partner Kais. However, from out of nowhere, creatures appear and lay siege to the airship. Without even thinking, Lael leaps headfirst into action, and thus our story begins. Final Fantasy The Crystal Bearers is an action-adventure game, not an RPG or dungeon crawler either. Like Crystal Chronicles, Crystal Bearers features fully real-time combat as opposed to turn-based battles, which I'm not gonna lie, that kind of irked us. Anyway, players take on the role of the Crystal Bearer, and the game consists of 2 main modes, the action-adventure stages, and of course the motion-controlled events. The action-adventure aspect of the game has Lael exploring the world, entering towns, cities, dungeons, beaches, ruins, riding chocobos, and even trains. Players always have full control over Lael's arcane abilities. Like all Final Fantasy games, you can play through the story and do side quests along the way. Although, in this game, Lael has missions and side quests that come from Mogul mailmen. Honestly, I didn't spend that much time with it. The Moguls are very important in Crystal Bearers, and these little guys act as a crafting system for this game. Each Mogul provides a different shop. The final shop will change the type of emblem that's on the back of your jacket. As of yet, we have no idea what purpose this serves other than how cool it makes Lael look. Every once in a while, the sky will turn black and a battle will begin. Players can either fight or run away, unlike other Final Fantasy games where leaving battles isn't always possible. In order to progress through the game, gamers must complete quick-time events nicknamed minigames by the Western reviewers. Lael has a variety of different events that happen as part of the storyline, like free-falling off Kai's ship, escaping the military, skiing on water, rescuing the Selkies, and many others. Crystal Bearers has a heavily developed story which is very well done and will keep you guessing till the very end. It's nice to see a new direction with the series, other than Ring of Fates for the DS, of course. First off, let me just clarify to you viewers, the gameplay is different than other Final Fantasy games. However, unlike most of what we've heard from sub-professionals and gaming journalists, the gameplay doesn't suck. The Wiimote succeeds in making the gamer feel like you're controlling Lael's psychic powers. Next, all you have to do is move the Wiimote in any direction, and the object will react to your powers. Lael is able to make use of different combat actions, like grabbing and throwing enemies, and even turning objects into deadly projectiles, which is pretty cool. Players can also dodge by holding the B button and shaking the Wiimote at the same time. When Lael is exploring, he can use his powers to interact with the environments around him. Examples of this would be jumping, grabbing ledges, sliding on ropes, activating switches, swinging on beams, and creating a telekinetic grappling hook. Gamers will notice how responsive the controls are and how easy it is to maneuver Lael and use his powers via the Wiimote. In most of the ruins, Lael will have to do a bit of platforming. This isn't really a pain at all, but we notice that it does get a little childish at times. The motion controls is what this game has been criticized the most over. Reviewers complain that the gameplay seems repetitive during the battles, and controls are just hideous. Once again, they've missed the point. Being that we actually beat this game twice, we have uncovered no major issues with the gameplay at all, including the quote mini-games. No matter what Lael is doing, gamers can easily target and use his powers without any concern. The camera is also very easy to use in this game, and players can always center the camera with the Z button. However, this game has some big shortcomings that are preventing us from fully enjoying the series' bold new Wii direction. While it's a joy to see non-playable characters with expressed emotions and vibrant personalities, it's not that grand that Lale can only speak to a handful of characters, most of which are crucial to the game's story. This problem continues to expand throughout the whole game, and we're amazed that Square can call this Final Fantasy and utterly remove all the qualities of its namesake. Now, Crystal Bearers is okay, but when we think Final Fantasy, certain things are just mandatory. RPG elements, leveling up, upgrading weapons and armor, summoning, magic, a deep storyline, and of course lovable characters. Crystal Bearers only manages to keep the last 4. One of the game's most annoying features to us was the cutscenes. They are too long and they can never be skipped. Crystal Bearers is like an interactive movie, or at least that's how it feels to us. Lale goes to a new location, a movie plays. Lale explores that area a little more, and then another movie plays. Lale meets a new character, and a longer movie plays. Which brings up another downside. This game is only a 30-hour adventure, if you do all the side quests and collect stuff. But in reality, the second time through, we beat this game in about 4 hours and 8 minutes. It's just way too short if you ask us. Yet no other critics has mentioned that. One thing we can't forgive this game is its recycled music. As a musician, I always hate it when composers create one track that the developers decide to loop over for most of the game. Considering the grand scale that games are made today, this type of laziness is unacceptable. This isn't the 1980s anymore, and you can do better than this, Square. The combat in this game, while fun and easy to pick up, it does a complete 180 in the prison. This fight, unlike all the other monsters, is trial and error mechanics. The robots have shields and guns. Players are supposed to remove these 2 obstacles at the beginning, although oddly enough, it took players a while to figure this out, and it didn't reflect the simplicity of most of the earlier battles. Another thing we noticed is during some of the battles, the gameplay slows down just a little bit when throwing a lot of projectiles. Now, it doesn't disrupt the gameplay, but it was just a tad annoying. Out of the motion games to be put in this game, why in the world did they need to add this one? Since I'm not very good at music games, since being programmed to do everything on the beat, I just couldn't play the offbeats. This led to a lot of screaming at my TV moments. Especially for a percussion genius like myself. But I digress. You're probably wondering what we can say to make this game sound better. One of the things we respect the most about this game is its visual presentation. The development team did an incredible job, and Square has made one impressive looking Wii title. Each location Lale visits is based on a different season, and the amount of detail in the character models and background is just stunning. We notice droplets on the screen when Lale is surfing on the water, and changes in the environments when battle begins, and lots of other small things that just made everything worthwhile. Crystal Bearers, when it wasn't recycling music, had outstanding music and great voiceovers, which made having to see the cutscenes over and over again more tolerable. The different minigames are really fun, and they offer many unique ways of using the Wiimote. Our favorite had to be free-falling and shooting monsters. All the players need to do is aim with the Wiimote and fire away with the B button. What fun was that? Bearers offers 3 different ways for gamers to travel the world, either by foot, riding a chocobo, and of course riding the train. You heard right, a train. As soon as Sid fixes up the train, players can get from one location to the next without ever having to set foot on the world map again. That's extremely epic, and how we conquered this game as fast as we did. Battling monsters is a must in Final Fantasy, although running away from battles hasn't been. Crystal Bearers allows gamers to choose to fight or run away, and you aren't penalized for fleeing. Probably the most rewarding thing that this game has to offer is the New Game Plus feature. You heard right, like Chrono Trigger, players can replay the entire game with all your items, gil, and equipment collected during your first playthrough. But that's not all. Players are able to change the difficulty and options of the motion-controlled events. So if you thought the motion controls were juvenile before, I challenge you guys to up the difficulty. Cutscenes and events have also changed slightly, and Lale is now stronger when fighting enemies, although I'm still trying to figure out how he leveled up. Crystal Bearers throws in some fun motion-controlled games and a great story for good measure too. However, the game is very short and it has some other issues preventing us from singing its praises. So Game Nights Entertainment gives Final Fantasy The Crystal Bearers for the Wii a 7 out of 10. This game does justify a purchase because of the new Game Plus feature. Just keep in mind that this game is really short. Okay, that's gonna wrap up another Game Nights video review. Keep it locked here as we release more vids and new reviews all the time. This is Kwing as always saying God bless and happy gaming. Until we meet again, gamers. See ya.